And Journey leaders, thank you for taking the time out of your week to not only prepare regularly for the Trek and Journey meetings at Awana, but also during the time that we're going to be with the students for the time commitment, the love, and the care that you will show to them. The purpose of this video is to walk you through what week one will look like, but also what we're looking at for the coming year. I want to give you just an overview of what Trek and Journey are going to look like because this is brand new for us, and we will learn along the way, so be flexible. I haven't given you much of any kind of really hands-on content. Stacy and I have been working alongside each other, kind of looking over everything, figuring out what direction we're going to aim in. Because this is only an hour, we are not going to do games. We're not doing a big formal, like large group music kind of lesson, but we will have a time where there is a lesson for the students, both Trek and Journey together, and then we will split up. So about half of the time we'll be together, and the other half of the time we will be separate. I put together a schedule that is currently what we're planning to do. If we need to adjust things in the future, we'll do that. I'm going to be able to share this screen back and forth between both looking at me and then the screen that's next to me, and I hope that you'll be able to see that. So briefly, here's what the schedule is that we're looking at. All right, here we will start at 5:15. We will be done at 6:15. If you can get here around 5, that would be great. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit here. I'll just leave that how it is. So we'll start with icebreaker questions. People are kind of getting there, and then we'll do some prayer requests, requisitions. That's not right. Prayer and prayers. Prayer and pray. That's supposed to say prayer and praise, whatever that's supposed to say. Prayer, praise, requests, or sharing. Then after that, I'll have a video, and if you find videos that you are like, this would be really cool, that's relatively short, maybe less than 5 minutes, that'd be great. You could share those, and we could kind of talk through how we want to do that in the coming weeks. I'll have a video aimed at either some sort of training, like theology kinds of training, or maybe something from Bible Project, because one of the things that we'll get into in a minute is they'll need to do Bible summaries. They'll need to write brief summaries of books that they have read. And Bible Project does a great job of that, or some sort of apologetic video, or some sort of devotional type video. Some short up to 5-minute video, and I just linked here. I don't think you have this, but I just linked here for myself some links that have some short videos that we can show, and then talk about it as a group. So this will be from 5:25 to 5:35, so that's about 10 minutes. The first section is about 10 minutes. After we have that 5 to maybe 7-minute video, we'll have a time of discussing that video. So this will be from 5:25 to 5:45. So about 20 minutes or so of watching a video and then discussing it, both junior high and high school students together in the room. That time may adjust depending on how this goes, but not a long, arduous video editing, something engaging, something asking real questions that junior high or high school students might be asking, or lessons or leadership type lessons, because some of them are going to be working alongside younger kids in Cubbies or Sparks. Then after the 5:45 portion is done, so that's the group time, we're all done together, we're going to shift, and high school will go into a separate room. We're meeting in the Trinity room all together when we start. The junior hires, because there's a larger group of them, will stay in there. And right now, Melissa and Stacy and Dan will stay with them in the Trinity room, and then James and I, you can see here at the bottom, James and I will go with the high school kids. There's like 4, I think, right now of them into the office, so just right next door. And then Stacy and Dan and Melissa will stay in the Trinity room. Once that we do that split, we'll open books, because Trek will be in a separate book than Journey, and the portions there that you guys will be doing is reviewing the work that they did in the book the past week. So there's daily activities that they should be doing every day, spending a few minutes, answering some questions, just memorizing some verses. We'll get into that in just a moment. And then after that, about 15 minutes of book review. So everyone's book's open. You're going day by day, asking them if they have questions about stuff, asking them what stuck out to them, going through those, I think, 6 days or so of what's in their book. It's going to have to be somewhat quick. We're really just summarizing. We don't have time to dig into every single one. because it's about a 15-minute block of time. And then for the last 15 minutes, and that may shift again to 10 minutes depending on how memorization goes, but that last shift, that last section of 6 to 6:15 there at the bottom, Dan, you'll have to leave, from what I understand, around 6 to go do music with TNT, and that will leave Stacy and Melissa in there. And depending on how many high school students are there, James and or I or both can come over to the Trinity room, and we can just do that. We'll just be listening to the verses that they have done, and once they have said their verse, if they are staying and going and helping with the younger kids, they can just head over to the foyer with the other clubs. After they said their verses, we can sign them off and they can go. Or if they're getting picked up by their parent, then that will be done by 6:15. So that's the schedule. Our aim here is like every book that they're aiming at doing, the projects that we're doing is helping them get to, let me see if I can find this here, this page. Sorry about that. Here it is aiming at at achieving what's called the Citation Award. So they've already done TNT, which is down here, the 4 books in TNT. In order to get your Citation Award, it's actually a good award, it's not a bad award. Citation Award is finishing 10 books. So it's 4 TNT books. Because there's 4 high school books, they only need to complete 2 of the Trek books. We are doing His People this year. Then after that, we'll probably go back to His Story, and we'll do His Love, depending on where kids are, the flow. But we'll just stick with 2 of these books. His People is what we're doing this year. And then after that, we're doing Identity for high school this year. And then after that, we'll go back through and do Disciples, Witnesses, and Advocates. The goal is, in whatever order, is completing 10 Awana books to get the Citation Award, if that's what their aim is. For Trek, this is what we're doing this coming week. So Wednesday is the Trek Check. It's a little small book that looks like this. We're doing it all in one day. It's designed to go through multiple days, but we're just doing it in one day. And the the high school kids, on the screen you can see I highlighted Faith Foundations. That's this book. One little book. We're just going through it in one day. And we're not actually opening their books the first night. We're just doing this, other than explaining how their books work. In front of me I have the Trek book, which we'll get into in just a minute. And I don't have a Journey book in front of me. Also, for the Trek and Journey, we have discussion guide. So there's a bigger book for the leaders, so all of us adults will get that, and then the students will have the smaller version of the book. Inside the leader guide, as it is with TNT, it also mirrors what the students will be looking at. All right, so that's kind of clear, I hope. And then inside, let's start with Trek. Inside the Trek book, there is, open it up here. There's a few things. So we'll just start with day 1, show you how this works. So let me shift this camera over. If I can figure out how to work the computer again. All right. So Trek book here. Inside the Trek book, there's lots of reading that they can be doing to help them understand what's going on. 1-1, so there's 30 sections total to finish the book, or 32 actually. We have 30 weeks of club, so there'll be a couple weeks we'll be doubling up down the road. When we have some gap weeks, we'll ask the kids to double up in order to finish the book by the end of the year. If they stay with that pacing, they'll finish by the end of the year. So as we see here, day 1, hopefully it's not mirrored in what you're watching, but day 1, and the goal is for them to do something in their Awana book every day. Day 1, it gives them a key thought, which is just a brief summary of what's going on, keywords or like vocab words, if you will, and then they have some activities and stuff that they are writing in. And then if we go to day 2, there's stuff in the Bible they're reading. This, for example, for 1-1, day 2 is Acts 1 through 11. At the tail end of day 2 is where we'll find what they call the key verse, and this is Acts 1:8, and this is the memory verse for this week. So there's only one memory verse for Trek per week. If they want to memorize more verses, they can. They don't get credit for that, but there's no bucks or anything that we have. And then after that, they can be memorizing this verse. Since it's on day 2 in their book, they can be reading back through it every day that week. And there's other activities. Day 3, reading portions of Acts. There's a work it out, so that's a couple questions, and they just write in the answers in their book. Day 4, reading through that section. That's just a couple verses. This is really just Acts 1:4 through 5. It's just 2 verses, 3 verses, and then it's asking a couple questions, and they just write in the answers down here. And this is what you're reviewing with them on Wednesday when we meet. Day 5, verses 6 through 8. Some questions. They're writing in the answers. Day 6, work it out. That's the activity, if you will, the things that they're writing. Day 7, what is one truth that you learned this week? What are you going to do about it? That's the application piece of it. And then here at the bottom, there is and then it's sermon notes. If they want to write for Sunday morning message type things, they can be writing that here, the date and the speaker. Then at the bottom, this is the very end of 1.1. At the bottom, it says lesson 1.1, intro activity. If they did the intro activity, that's on 1.1. It's usually drawing a picture, some sort of very simple activity. Did they do it? Check. Did they do the memory verse? That was that on the end of day 2, where it showed the key verse. That's the memory verse for 1.1. It's Acts 1:8. And then did they do the work it out, is what they call it. And there's a little checkbox there, right there. Did they do that section? If they did that, that's all the days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the questions. They write the stuff in. If they did that, you check that, and then you're writing the leader signature and the date. At the bottom, they ask, are you on track with your Bible reading? Record where you are here. And so they can write in where they are with their Bible reading down here. So there's Bible reading that they should be doing every week or every month, reading through. We're going to have sections for each year that they're reading through a portion of the Bible. All the kids reading it together, the leaders, you can join with them as well. And if they read through the sections that we have outlined for them, Awana already has it all structured, then by the time they're done with Trek and done with Journey, they'll have read through the whole Bible. So all of Trek is the New Testament, and then Journey is the Old Testament. So that's the Journey book. The discussion guide, again, has all the same questions, but there's more space for leaders to be able to write in, so you can write in your own stuff, write in extra questions. There's a preparation section for the leader. It notes what the key verse is, the primary scripture, it says right there. If they want to read others, there's secondary scriptures that as the leader, you can get some more historical context, you can get some more teaching context for them as well. Just a few pages. And then at the bottom, you can, this is in the leader guide, there is an evaluation for the leader, just to write, how did I feel like that went? What are things I want to adjust next time for my work through the book? So that's the Trek stuff. And mostly what you're doing, again, you only have about 15 or 20 minutes to do this, is to walk through those 7 days with the students, asking what jumped out at you, what questions did you have, did you finish the work that was in your book? And then that last 10 or 15 minutes is for them just to recite their verse. If they've already completed their verse, they finished all their days, sign them off, and they can go on their merry way. They can finish other stuff if they need to. We do need to be done no later than 6:15, especially for those students who are going to the other side for working with younger kids. Now that's Trek. Journey is slightly different. The Journey book, like I said, I don't have in front of me. What are we at? 13 minutes already for this video. The Journey book, let me show you what that looks like. Let's see here, leader guide, Journey. All right, here you go. This is the Journey book. So there is an outline for, here's day 1. This is on my screen here, lesson 2.1. They're also reading here, notice Old Testament. They're reading through some sections. What's different about Journey, what's important to note, is there's really 2 primary aspects of Journey. One, they need to be doing the book work, and that's what we're going to review in the discussion time. Other than the book work, they have 1 of 3 verses, or 3 if they want, but at least 1 of 3 verses that they need to memorize. Let's see if I can get this to come down farther. So at the top, in the Journey book, it asks, which of these verses do you want to memorize? And then you write, it says write it here, or they can circle whatever that is, and then they can write that down in their book. They can physically write out the verse to help them be memorizing that through the week. And then it's, again, like the Trek book, here's day 1 that they're doing the work, they're reading that, asking God and asking questions. Number 2, day 2, 10 Commands for Godly Living. There's the 10 Commandments there. Exodus chapter 20. Checking that, writing the date. They can write in their own date of when they did this. Day 3. We'll go all the way down. Oops. There's day 4. Oh, this only shows us up to day 4, it looks like. Lesson summary. Yeah. So here, we see that there's a lesson summary. They ask here, circle which verse you chose to memorize, and that helps us as the leader know which of the verses is it. There's some main ideas that we see, like vocab words, terminology, what is the Mosaic Covenant, what is the law of Moses. And then after that, in the leader guide, sorry for the screen being all over the place, the leader guide tells us where, and so will the book, will tell us where we will sign them off. So we're going through that Bible study with them. They have one verse that they can memorize. They recite that verse to us, and then they again kind of go on their way. What's helpful is as the discussion leader, there's a few different things we can do to help in this with the students. There's three main things that we can do. One, we can just open the book with them and read through it. Read through our discussion guide, read through what they've done, ask questions. There also is, in the discussion guide, there's a QR code that will pop up here somewhere, a QR code that summarizes the video for that day. And so maybe it's some weeks that we watch the video together, and then other weeks we just read through it, just something to be different, break it up a little bit. Maybe it's a little more challenging of a lesson. Maybe you didn't prepare as well. You can show that video. I have not seen Trek having a video like this. This is particularly for Journey. The reason, by the way, that I'm telling you both the Trek stuff and the Journey stuff, even if you might just be aimed at the Trek stuff or just at the Journey things, is because we might need to be able to cross over between groups. And so it's important that we both know, or we all know, how both of them function. Small group, so that's the large group section up here, if we want to do it like a summary of their lesson for that week. But in small group, they are doing, right here where my arrow is, students memorize at least one of the following verses. So they are, like I showed you in the book, where it told the student they can memorize one of the three. Here are those three options for lesson 2.1. The students should also have read Exodus 3, Exodus 21 through 17, Deuteronomy 14, and Numbers 14 and Deuteronomy 5. So in the lesson that they should have been reading that week, they would have covered those other verses as well. If they want to read additional stuff, it shows additional reading. It gives you a summary of what they would have learned. Not to say that you can't also have read through the stuff as well, but it gives you, as the leader, a brief summary. And then it shows you in lessons 1 through 4 what they would have done that week. Unlike Trek, it looks like there's just 4 lessons for Journey. Trek has each of those days of the week, so they can break it up in different ways. The Trek students can. The Journey students can. And then here again we see a portion, actually it's blocked by the screen. It's here, right down here. There's a section here where you can again see what verses are they doing. To share it, that's discussion time, asking questions about it. We're asking them application questions as well. How is this going to live out in your life? And then in the teaching guide, or in the discussion guide, us as the leaders can be writing in stuff here for the following week or lessons that we want to emphasize with the students. So that's a brief overview of the Trek stuff and the Journey things for both in the book and in the leader guide. Here, identity resources. So as the high school discussion leader, they have a little bit more content online. This is clubs.awana.org, particularly for youth ministry course or for identity is what my arrow's showing here. So this is if you want to do for Journey, a little bit more information. We can go to whatever unit they are in the book. So let's just pick unit 3. And then we can say, okay, we want to watch a video, maybe that large group video that I was talking about. This is where that is.
Inadequate priority.
You can watch
the Southern Kingdom, in a bit of a contrast,
watch a video summarizing what they would have talked about in that lesson for in this case, unit 3. And then here's one for 3.1, a 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. So that's those 4 lessons. So if you want a video to be able to show that summarizes that lesson, video content again for the students to watch, or you all to watch together, or just you as the leader to watch, this is the place to find it. clubs.awana.org/YM, that is for youth ministry-course/identity. And then there's a parent guide that can be downloaded. There's a small group discussion guide, teaching slides if we wanted to use a PowerPoint, a plethora of opportunity unique to identity because it's a newer option from Awana, and so they gave more resources for us. Trek, on the other hand, they give you some slides. They don't give you any videos to watch. and then they give you some clip art stuff. And this again is clubs.awana.org/trek-curriculum. So as you can see, the Trek stuff is a little bit different than the Journey things. All right, that's my conclusion for that. All sorts of these things can be found in videos, training videos, what it looks like to do small group time in the Trek and Journey training material, which I will share with all of you. You can see stuff for Trek leader stuff. Here's, for example, a breakdown of what does all the Trek material look like. Here's the different Trek books. His story, here's kind of the breakdown of how those books work and what's inside of them. So I'll share these folders with you, and you can peruse them as much as possible, either in the first week or so of us meeting. Thanks again for doing this. This 20 minutes I'm at for this video. I'm going to stop now. And again, just a reminder, show up at 5, and then we'll review what we're going to do that night. And then we will, particularly for this coming week, so by the time you get this, it'll probably be Tuesday. Sorry about that. We will review the Faith Foundation for Journey, and we'll do that separately, and we will do Trek Check for the Trek group. So that will be after the first half hour. I'll have a video for us to watch and for us to discuss, and then Stacy will also spend some time and review what we're doing for the Bible summaries, because that's going to be an active part of our discussion through the course of the year, and important for them if they want to work towards their citation award, but also good just to get them in the Word of God. That's it. All right, thanks so much. And that concludes the video. Reach out as you have questions. We're doing this together, and I'm just privileged to be able to do this with you. It should be a fun year.